recitation of the Quran, but also focus on the meanings of the Quran. For today, inshallah, we will focus on Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah Ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah, over and over again, one of the common themes in Surah Al-Baqarah is that Allah Ta'ala discusses the people of the past, specifically the Jews, Banu Israel. Allah Ta'ala addresses them over and over again, reminding them of the blessings that He has given them and of the evil actions that they did, despite Allah Ta'ala giving them all of these blessings. Why is Allah Ta'ala mentioning Bani Israel if the main addressees of this Quran are not just Bani Israel, but it's meant for all mankind? It is because even though Allah is addressing them, however, the reminder is for every single one of us that those are people in the past who made mistakes. They became misguided due to those mistakes. Do not follow them in their footsteps. And it is a mistake for us to read those verses and say that doesn't apply to us. That only applies to Bani Israel. That's a big mistake. Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, he addressed the Muslims, and when he explained these ayat, he told them that the Bani Israel, they are a group of people who have gone. At that point, they were gone from Medina. There were no Jews left in Medina. So he told the Muslims in Medina that Bani Israel are people who have gone. You are the ones who are intended by these verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, in which Allah Ta'ala is addressing Bani Israel. And so we should look at all those things and take heed and look into ourselves. Do we have any of those negative qualities in our lives or not? And I want to zoom in on one particular ayah. Allah Ta'ala says, وَمِنْهُمْ أُمِّيُّونَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا أَمَانِيَّ وَإِنْهُمْ إِلَّا يَظُنُّونَ. And from amongst them are ummiyun. There's different ways to translate this, but what it generally means is people who lack knowledge. They're just general folks, maybe laymen. From amongst the Jews, from amongst Bani Israel, are some laymen. They don't know the book except amaniya, except their recitation. There's different ways to understand this, but one understanding is that they don't know this book except for their mere recitation of the book. And the ulama comment on this. They say that this was a common trait amongst all the misguided nations, that they would solely focus on just the words of the book. They would solely focus on just reciting the Arabic of the words, and they would not, or of course whatever language it was revealed in, and they would not focus on the actual meaning and the understanding, the message that Allah Ta'ala has sent with that book. And so every single one of us should take this lesson home, that in this blessed month of Ramadan, inshallah, we will read Quran more. We will listen to Quran more behind our respected Imam. However, we should not make that our only share of the Quran. Rather, we should make it a point that we should try to make extra efforts to connect with the meaning of the Quran. Yes, this Quran is Mubarak, it is blessed. Allah Ta'ala says that it's Mubarak. However, this barakah doesn't just entail that we recite it in, for example, our marriage gatherings. We recite it, we get some hafiz to come or some madrasa students to recite in our homes when we buy our new homes, or we get some people to come and recite after a relative has passed away. That's not the extent of its barakah. Its barakah, especially, we will be able to attain when we focus and ponder and understand its meanings and act upon and implement its meanings. That's why Allah Ta'ala says, Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka mubarak. It is a book that we have revealed upon you, which is blessed. But He didn't just leave it at that. He said, لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ. He explained the main purpose of this book so that they can ponder on its verses. That is the main purpose why the Quran was revealed, for the message, not just the words that we recite. And so every single one of us should make it a point that we have to make an effort. This is the message that Allah Ta'ala has sent with the greatest of all the Prophets ﷺ. This is the greatest miracle that we have right in front of us, preserved, fully preserved. Why am I not making some sort of effort to try to understand this and to take heed and to bring it into my life? So this should be our goal, not just in Ramadan, but outside of Ramadan, by reading the translation of the Quran, by listening to the tafsirs of the Quran by our respected ulama. We have sessions over here as well. This should be a main purpose in our life, to connect with the Quran. Yes, through recitation, the Quran is very important and it is a means of worship for sure. But on top of this, focusing on the meanings, so that we do not become misguided like Bani Israel became misguided before us, by only just focusing on the words and losing the bigger picture of the main purpose behind the revelation, which is its meaning. May Allah Ta'ala grant us all the tawfiq wa akhir da'wan. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.